after the road ended. Tall trees blocked most sunlight. The fog thickened around them. Then Emma stopped walking. "Do you guys hear?" Hanging from the door handle was an old wooden cross covered in mud. Carved into it were the words, "Turn back." Ryan immediately windows were completely black. A giant cross stood crooked above the entrance. Ryan started filming immediately. Ryan backed away slowly. One of the robed figures pointed toward him, then whispered, "The camera sees everything." Suddenly, The screams led them to an old well. The sound came from below. Jake cried desperately. "Don't look down." Ryan ignored him. He aimed the camera into the well. At first, nothing. Then dozens of pale faces slowly appeared from darkness, smiling, their eyes completely black.
In less than a minute, the bright afternoon sun disappeared behind a mass of dark clouds. A cold wind swept across the road. Ashley laughed and called it perfect horror movie weather. But the locals standing on their porches looked up at the sky with expressions that had nothing to do with laughter. Old Father Thomas, the village priest, watched the clouds roll in from the steps of the star on his chest and a warm handshake. He insisted they stay at his house rather than driving back to the nearest hotel. His wife, Margaret, welcomed them with sweet tea and homemade cornbread. The only awkward moment came when their son Ethan walked in and made a sarcastic comment about city girls coming to study their nothing little village. He apologized quickly, clearly embarrassed, and that evening he offered to take them to the oldest landmark in Ravenwood, King Solomon Blackwell's mansion, built over 400 years ago and abandoned for nearly as long. They went at midnight, the three of them slipping out of the house while Harold and Margaret slept. The mansion sat at the completely still. They entered through a side window and moved through the rooms with their phone flashlights cutting through 4 centuries of dust and silence. Maya walked slowly. Something about this place felt familiar in a way she couldn't explain. The shape of the hallways, the particular arch of the doorways, the view from the upstairs windows looking out over the bayou. She had been here before. She was certain of it. She just couldn't remember when. Then a door at the far end of the upper hallway opened by itself, and in the doorway stood an old woman in a white dress, her white hair loose around her shoulders, her eyes pale and almost colorless. She had the look of someone who had been waiting a very long time. "I have kept watch over this house for 400 years, she said in a voice like dry leaves. "Why have you come?" Maya answered without hesitating. "We're looking for the immortal serum." Something moved behind the old woman's pale eyes. She turned and walked deeper into the mansion, and without discussing it, all three of them followed. She led Maya into a small room at the back of the house. On the wall hung a large oil portrait, dark with age. The like a part of her that had been lost for 400 years had quietly, finally, found its way back home. Behind them, in the Ravenwood Bayou, the ancient tree that had dripped green liquid since the time of King Solomon Blackwell, bloomed white flowers for the first time in 4 centuries, and the village slept peacefully, without chanting, without footsteps, without fear. For the first time in 400 years, Ravenwood was free.